Well, hi there. My name is Kylie. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about the 10 things that I learned in my 4 years of college. I'm officially graduated now. I've been graduated for a week and a day. And so now I can say I'm officially done with college, even though I'm still living here for a little while yet. I want to say before we get into this that I have learned more than 10 things in college. These are just like the major life lessons that I have come across or realized. So that being said, I'm not gonna waste any time. Let's just get right into number one, which is I learned how to stand up for myself, especially in a workplace setting. Before I came to college, especially in high school, I would just do what I was told, and I still do what I'm told. But if there were things that I didn't want to do or I didn't agree with, I would never say anything. It's just like, oh, it's not my place. I've learned not to do that anymore. Especially like through my RA job, there are things that I haven't agreed with in terms of like trainings and how things should be done, and in the past I would have just like bit my lip and not said anything, especially when things like deeply bothered me. These are not little things that are just like, well, whatever, and then I'm like really worried about them. They were big things that I really didn't agree with and was being told to do. And I learned through this job as an RA to stand up for myself. And over the past year, I've had multiple instances where I have very much disagreed with something, or something my supervisor did hurt my feelings, and I actually brought it up to them. I didn't like this interaction that we had, or something that you said to me really hurt my feelings, and that was a big step for me. That was huge. So, but my second thing, speaking of being an RA, when I wrote this, I was in a very different mindset. I wrote 3 years as an RA is probably too many. Now, okay, so I've reflected on this quite a bit, and I still kind of agree with it, but at the same time, it depends who you are as a person. I think as a third-year RA, I was kind of excluded from a lot of the groups and experiences that the first and second years had. I don't know if this is just because my school, or I'm in a different position, so I did not get the same kind of feeling, but my first year as an RA was great. I got so much interaction with all my co-workers and all that stuff, and now as like a third year, I wasn't really part of any of those like groups. I didn't make a lot of RA friends this year, and it was kind of different. So I think first and second year really fun, because it's like the second year you were a returner, so you know the job, and it's just more about like meeting new people and doing it again. But third year, it kind of gets old. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Even though this job got old to me this year, I still would have come back. And I think if I was coming here for grad school, I would still work for housing. There are a lot of upsides to this job, as well as being a lot of downsides. Overall, it's a really positive experience. I met a bunch of people, and I love working in the housing office, which is something I learned. I'd much rather be in the office kind of doing that administrative stuff than I would like be working with students. And maybe that's just me growing out of this job, but that's just how I'm feeling. So, third thing that I learned was life won't stop for you. This kind of was a realization when COVID happened. Life was still moving, and we still had to figure out where to go from here, and especially when I came back to school, it's like time doesn't stop. And I know that's something that, of course, everybody knows that, but you have to realize it. It's like, okay, time here, especially in college, is so limited. So it's kind of like a have fun while you can sort of thing, because life truly does not stop for you. You have to put work into where you want to be and your goals, because there is always tomorrow until there isn't. So that's my third thing. My fourth thing is make friends while you can. I love this one because it's so true. I mean, all of these are true, but I made friends every single year that I was here. and I love all the connections I've made. I talked about that a little bit in my last couple of videos, so I'm not going to rehash it again. College is so easy to meet people. There's people all over the place, and if you get a job, that's another opportunity to make new friends. And like I said, I've met people every single year, different people that I've become friends with. I don't know if post-grad is like that because I'm still here and I've only been graduated for a week, so I can't truly say. But I know that for me, my next chapter is going to be spending a lot of time with my family because I'm moving down south and I'm not moving there with any friends. I'm hoping to make friends while I'm there, of course, but all my friends are pretty much staying up here. I think it's going to be way harder because I'm working from home in a new area that I've never been in, so I'm going to have to try pretty hard to meet new people. We'll see how that goes. That's going to be a whole journey. If you're just coming to college or wherever you're watching this, make friends while you can, because it's easy here and you never know what happens when you leave. So number 5 is you are who you surround yourself with. This one can be positive or negative. Luckily, I've had so many positive influences on my life, but I am human. I have had some negative ones, and not really in college as much as I did in high school. But this is just something I have really come to know, is that like your friend group really does make you who you are. And I think this is something that I realized more because I made new friends every year. So it's not that I had different friend groups, but I was hanging out with different people more often. And I kind of saw myself not changing because I am still my own person, but kind of, you know, changing how I thought about things or my mindset based on who I was hanging out with. That is something that's so important, is making sure you have a positive friend group or just people you want to be around who will like lift you up and help you achieve your goals and not judge you for who you are. Number 6 is a huge one for me. I have become so more confident in myself. I've really come to love who I am, love myself and my body image and all that stuff. I wasn't super insecure in high school, but I'm way more confident now than I was then. I do have some insecurities still. I'm not like bulletproof. Overall, they're like not as big of a deal to me anymore. I love my body as a whole, but there are things that like can get me down on some days. I'm just like, this outfit isn't fitting right, or I don't like how my body looks in this top, or blah blah blah, and that's like so minuscule now. It doesn't nearly bother me as much. Like if I used to have like a bad body image day, it would kind of ruin my mood. I'd be like, oh, and I'd be so focused on it, and now I'm just like, okay, whatever, like I'm not having a good hair day, let's just not focus on that. And it has become so easy for me in my journey of like self-discovery, I guess, if you want to call it that. Number 7 is don't take yourself or life too seriously. I don't know if this just comes with getting older too, but in high school, every little thing was like the end of the world to me. Really, I don't focus on that kind of stuff anymore. It's just, you can't take life too seriously. Things will happen, bad things, good things, and whether you like it or not. So you're just gonna have to deal with it. Of course, yes, I don't take life too seriously, but at the same time, there are things that make me sad and things that make me upset. I allow myself to feel those feelings. I will cry it out. I will call my mom. I'll talk to her, and I will tell her, like at the beginning of every conversation that I have that's like this, I'm like, okay, I know this isn't a big deal in the big scheme of things. It's just bothering me right now, and I have to get it out. But once I get it out, I let it go. And that is something that's so important. You can't dwell on things that go wrong or things you wish you did differently, because you can't change it. It's in the past. You literally can't do anything about it. You can try to make amends if it's really bad, like with someone else, or if you just disappoint yourself. That's kind of almost worse, when I disappoint myself. So in those situations, you have to feel those feelings and then you have to let them go, because it's not that serious. I've been saying that all year. It's not that deep. It's not that serious. Just let it go, move on. We'll get there. Nobody cares. Absolutely nobody cares. Like when you are spending time alone, if you are wearing something that you think is outrageous. I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with examples. In like a public setting, if there's anything that you're like embarrassed about or are thinking a lot about, like, oh, people are looking at me. No, they're not. They aren't. Absolutely. Like, everyone is so in their own world. Like, take it from me. When I'm out and about, I am not looking at people. Well, I don't know if this is just me. This might just be me, but I'm very much in my own world. I'm like on my phone, or I'm looking at something, or I'm like shopping and I'm looking at clothes and blah, 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 whatever I'm doing. I am not focused on the people around me. Why would I think that the people around me are focused on me? Because I'm not focused on them. If there's something that makes you embarrassed or you're nervous about or anything like that, I guarantee in the big scheme of things, nobody cares. So you really should just do what you want to do and make your own decisions, because you are the only one that has to deal with those things. Number 9 is there are more important things in life than partying and drinking. I turned 21 in college. I'll put a disclaimer on this. I've never been a huge drinker. I don't love going out and getting plastered. I've probably only been drunk a handful of times in my entire life. I just think that in college there's a lot of social pressure to go to parties all the time and always be out at the bars, and especially here where it's like kind of small town, there's not like a lot of stuff to do. So if you're not at the bars on Saturday, where are you? I don't know. There's so many other things that I would rather be doing than being at a party or being at the bar. And I don't think I'm like better than people who go out and drink or anything like that. I don't want you to get the impression that I'm like all up on my high horse saying, don't go out and drink. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to go out and have a drink every once in a while. For me, like, I'm also saying that there are more important things in life. And if you're like me, if you're one of those people who doesn't like partying and would rather be doing something else, I guarantee if you don't go to that party, no one's gonna give you a hard time about it. And I know that's not something you'll hear from every 22-year-old, so I'm telling you right now, it's okay if you're not a big partier, because neither am I. And I had a great time in college. Last one, you guys, we made it through. The last one is seize the opportunity. This is more of like something I've learned in my senior year, just because I have had opportunities pop up. I'm a huge planner. I want to plan everything out. I want to have a plan for where I'm going. I need to have things done in advance or else I'm going to freak out. In terms of like jobs and stuff after college, I had this whole plan set. I have this job lined up. I've got all my plans for when I leave college and all that stuff. And then 2 weeks ago, I get offered a job here for the month of June. I wasn't supposed to stay for the month of June, and I was gonna be at home, but this is something I had a gut feeling about. And if you guys ever have gut feelings or your intuition is telling you something, you need to listen to that. That's what I think. I think our gut and our intuition is something that you should be listening to for pretty much every decision that you make. If something feels right, do it. If something feels wrong, don't do it. Anyway, I had such a gut feeling that I should be doing this job. And I was like, this is something I need to do. I just felt that and I knew it in my head. So I kind of derailed my entire summer plans to bend around this job. This is kind of where I'm going with the seize the opportunity thing, because this was an opportunity that was presented to me and I completely changed the plan of where I was going to accommodate something that I had this feeling that I should be doing. If you feel like you should be going somewhere, or if you feel like you always need to have a plan for something, it's okay to not follow those plans. I feel very comfortable in like planning for something, and then if it doesn't happen, okay, whatever, like I tried my best. Not putting a lot of pressure on following your plan to an absolute T and allowing it to be derailed and go somewhere else, just because if you do have that feeling, then that's where you're meant to go. Everything happens for a reason, of course. So if you're presented with this opportunity and you feel like you should take it, you should do everything in your power to take it. But then on the flip side, if that doesn't happen, do not beat yourself up about it. It just wasn't meant to be. I hope you guys liked my little advice video. I didn't intend for it to be like that, but it kind of turned out to be advice. And you know what? I feel qualified. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it because it was great to kind of reflect on my last 4 years of college and see how I've grown. So if you guys liked it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe down below, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.